It's the last day of the new year. Look at us sitting here and speaking with each other. What a beautiful time to be alive, right? Just being able to be alive and experience another beautiful year, right? Life's good. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about the experience that I had this year and what my biggest learning lessons were, because I learned a lot of lessons in 2024. It taught me a lot. If I have to boil down my entire experience this year to just be lessons, right? There were good times, there were bad times, there were beautiful times, there were super dark times, and what really made this year great was that it showed me how strong I was as an individual, right? When I think about it, this has been the hardest year out of all the years out there, right? Because for 20 years, I always lived in this bubble of comfort. I lived at home and everything was provided to me. My dad was super successful, and basically I got anything I ever wanted. Coming here to Canada, right, moving away from that bubble of comfort, it's taught me a lot about life. Especially what a luxury it is to have a place that you can call your own, right? Like, I took my house for granted. I took my house for granted. I took everything that came with living under a roof for granted, because when I moved here, and it was, you either pay your rent or just go on the road, be homeless. It's it really taught me a lot, right? It taught me that no one's coming to save me, and I gotta like work hard and put in the effort. And the more I put in the effort, the more I see results, right? I got a job this year. I got a job working as a peer mentor on campus, and thinking about it, right? I didn't have this job last year. I really struggled for money. I was a Uber driver last year. I handed out flyers. I did anything I could to, make money. And considering that there were a lot of limitations on how much I can work and what kind of work I can do, it was really hard for me to survive the first year. And the second year, again, it is hard. There's nothing easy at being an international student, but I was able to make some money. Even though it was less, I was able to make something with this peer mentor job that I have, and I'm so grateful that I had that, right? And I would have never really appreciated the essence of hard work if I had always stayed in my comfort zone, inside that little bubble of comfort, right? So yes, it did feel better just living in a home, not having to work, having everything provided, but really coming here, and when your ass is on the line, and when you have to pay rent every single month, that's when you really start getting your shit together, right? And it taught me something important. It taught me that maturity comes with experience and not with age. Because I've met a lot of people who are my age, a lot of people who are older than me, and I can positively say I'm way more mature. I've met a lot of like man-childs, not gonna lie, but really it's the experiences that you have that matures you as a person. If you want to grow as an individual, if you really want to go out there and achieve your full potential, right? There is a recurring theme. It's always do what's right even when you don't feel like it, and leave your comfort zone. That's a recurring theme that always comes up on any personal development video, any self-help video. It's always you got to go out of your comfort zone, and you have to do stuff that is uncomfortable but needs to be done. So again, moving to a different country, living alone, having to pay rent, having to pay for my own food, having to pay for my phone bill, and save up for paying my tuition, which is almost impossible with the current status of the economy, right? And all of these things, it really it teaches you a lot. So next time I go to a grocery store, I look at this chocolate bar that I want to buy, or I look at this ice cream cone that looks super good. When I was in India, I would just go up there and buy it, but now I have to like have to budget my expenses. I have to consider, if I buy this now, will I have enough to actually buy groceries, or will I have enough to pay my rent? Now it sounds like it's nothing big. Like, what are you talking about? It's just an ice cream cone. It's probably just $1. But when you're living as an international student, your expenses are insane. Expenses are insane, so you need to know how to balance that. You need to know how to survive. And then there's how to speak to people. The way I communicate, like, you speak differently to different people, right? You speak differently to your boss, you speak differently to your friends. There are different ways to communicate with different types of people. And knowing when to be formal and when to be playful, right? It's very important, because if you don't go out there and speak to higher up people, if you don't speak to professionals, you won't know how to communicate. So if I go to my friends and I'll be like, hey, what's up with you, how are you, you're so cool. If I go and do that to an actual working professional, if I go and do that to someone who is in a position that's higher than me, right, it's not going to do me any good. So knowing how to speak to different people, knowing how to communicate, is also extremely important. Another very important thing that 2024 has taught me, a great lesson, is that you shouldn't be attached to outcome. There's been so many situations where things didn't go my way, right? Like, you'd expect the current scenario to go in a particular direction and just derails and it goes in a completely different direction, right? And the only thing that kept me sane during those moments of uncertainty is my ability to be non-resistant and to adapt based on circumstance. Because if I was attached purely to the situations that was happening in my life, right, will that person like me? I really hope that person likes me. Or it could be, I really hope that this company accepts my resume and calls me in for a job interview. I've handed in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of resumes, hundreds and hundreds, right? But I never lost hope. I kept putting it out there. I kept putting out my resume over and over and over again, until, out of pure luck, I got called for an interview and I got this part-time job. And again, if I was attached to the first 100 resumes, right, and if I kept getting depressed after every refusal, there's no way I would have kept going, and I would have kept sending in my resumes to get a job. I had to be detached from outcome and trust in the process, right? The same thing for YouTube. Like, the views on YouTube aren't as high as I expect them to be, and I'm completely fine with that, because I keep putting out content, and only goal is to be 1% better in every video. Like, I do stammer a lot when I speak. In most of the videos, I go out of track, or I say words that just don't fit into the sentence, right? English is not my main language. My main language is Tamil. Okay, so English is something that I learned through school and by watching movies and watching stuff on YouTube. No one was a proficient English speaker from where I came from. They all spoke good English, obviously, but I grew up in an English speaking household and I still have problems communicating from time to time. So again, that could completely be a me thing, and I'm aware of that. So I keep working on improving my communication skills, and making videos and talking to you guys is a way in which I can build my skills in communication. It's because I've become comfortable with talking to myself, right? So don't be attached to outcome, because attachment, it only leads to suffering. And don't compare where you are. Don't compare yourself to your peers. Do not compare yourself to other people who are doing way better than yours, because you are on a different path and they are on a different path, right? Everyone's path is different, everyone's experience is different. So there's no need for you to sit here and compare your life situation with somebody else, right? Because you don't know what that other person is going through. They might have one aspect of their life completely figured out, but another aspect, they would be completely off the rails on that particular aspect, right? So someone could be very well off financially, but when it comes to the relationship they have with their family or the relationship they have with the people around them, they could be introverts, they could be people who are having constant fights, but you don't know about that. You just see the mask that they put on when they come out to public, right? You just see that one part of them, you don't see their entire life. So it makes no sense when you compare yourself to other people and feel envious about those people. It really doesn't make sense, because everyone's living their own life, everyone has their own experience, and you have your own problems to deal with. All of your problems would solve itself if you just worked on yourself without caring about how the progress of the people around you, right? It's great to take motivation from people, it is great to look at other people's work and be inspired by what they do, but wanting to be better than someone just because of your egotistical need to show to another person that you're better than them, or the fact that your ego gets bruised that the other person's achieved way more than you, so they have more opportunities. You have the ability to build yourself, and it's gonna be a long process, it's gonna be a really painful process. Like the pain that I go through to follow my dreams and follow my passions, it is nothing compared to the pain that I felt when I was sitting in my comfort zone, having everything thrown at me, but having no support from my community, right? You get to choose your pain, you get to choose your struggle, and realize that when you are in the midst, or when you are in the eye of the storm, the peak of whatever it is that's being a problem to you, realize that the reason it's happening, it's because of the choices that you made. So you got to take responsibility for whatever is happening in your current experience, and recognize that it's happening because you chose this particular path, right? Out of the infinite number of paths that you could have chosen, if you chose this particular path, then this problem that you're going through, it's just a hurdle that you need to overcome to achieve what you really have to achieve to reach your full potential. Now, this when I was an Uber driver, when I was riding around giving deliveries to people so that I could make just enough money to pay my rent and not get evicted, right? When I was in that situation, I was still a creative, I was still a photographer. It was just that me riding Uber Eats and handing out deliveries, it was a pathway that helped me become a better photographer, right? It was part of my art in a sense. If I hadn't gone through that struggle, right, of cycling all day during summer break, if I hadn't gone through that struggle, then I wouldn't have been able to afford my rent, and my art would have been hindered. So it's because I went through that. It's because I put myself out there and I had to go through those hardships. That wasn't the defining factor of my life. It was just something that was taking me towards my end destination of becoming a better artist. It just didn't seem that way in the process. So you might be going through something that doesn't seem like it's the right thing to be happening in your journey, right? You might feel that it has nothing to do with what you want to do in life, but if you have that goal in mind and you work towards that every single day, putting little efforts every single day, even when these type of hurdles come up, these hurdles may be leading you to actually achieving what you really want to achieve. And that's something that I really had to start to understand. It's that not every bad thing is an actual bad thing. It could actually lead you to something way better, right? I had to disconnect from some people so that I could open up and connect to new people, form new connections and even deeper bonds with people. But to get those deeper bonds, I had to cut ties with people from my past. I had to cut ties from people from my past, and that didn't feel comfortable. So in the back of my mind, I would be, why am I cutting ties with this person? I do not want to cut ties with this person. I want to have a strong relationship. But people are in your lives for a particular chapter. They come and they go. They don't have to be in your entire story, right? So if you are attached to the people from a previous chapter, then you cannot move on to the next chapter in your life, because your attachment to those people is actually holding you back from ever going there and achieving it. So you need to learn to detach, you need to learn to give yourself the love that you crave, give yourself the attention that you crave, and give yourself the inspiration in times when society or no one around you is there to motivate you, right? Because you will go through periods of your life where you feel really inspired to create work, periods of your life where creating is just something that comes with you super easy. Like, it's super easy to create, it's super easy to put stuff out there, everything is working in your favor, you're super motivated, you just hope that life keeps going this way. But anytime there's a peak, there always has to be a fall. And when that fall happens, and when nothing's going your way, and you do not know how to react, and you don't know what your next step is, and the people around you are going away and ghosting you, and you're all on your own, you should be able to give yourself that inspiration to keep going, and give yourself that motivation to keep going out there and pursuing that goal that you want to pursue. It's only with that kind of mindset, the mindset that anything that I live through I can fight, and anything I live through I can overcome, right? Just the fact that I woke up in the morning, just the fact that I have the ability to experience this beautiful experience called life, I have the ability to overcome any problem that's thrown my way, regardless of how dire the circumstance might feel, regardless of how helpless I might feel. I strongly believe that deep within, if there was this tiny flame of that keeps burning within me, there's even this little bit of chance, even if this is tiny chance that I could achieve the thing that I want to achieve, and I could go overcome this hardship that I'm going through, I will stick to that, and I will believe that it's possible for me to actually overcome the problem that I'm going through. You need to learn to appreciate the people who are there in your life at the moment, right? Because time flies really fast. Like 1 year gone, and I often look back at what I've done for this past year, and I criticize myself. I think to myself, you haven't grown as much as you should, considering the investment that you've put in to actually gain an education. You haven't grown as much as you thought you would have grown. So I thought I would have been making movies at this point. I'm just learning basic cinematography. I'm just learning how to use Adobe Lightroom and After Effects, and even make these type of tutorial videos and videos on YouTube. But I've grown in ways that I would have never have grown if I had decided to stay in my beach house and in my camera museum and just have everything handed out to me and live the easy life, right? Because even if I get a job, or if I don't get a job, I will still never go homeless if I'm back home. But I would have never have grown, right? I would have never had to evolve as a person. It only came because I knew deep down that there was much more that I had to learn, there was much more that I had to achieve, and that meant giving up temporarily this life of comfort and diving into the ocean of uncertainty, trusting in my intuition, trusting in the fact that I know deep within that I will make it big, I will achieve the stuff that I want to achieve. It's because even if the job market doesn't give me a job, I will keep searching. I will keep saving up in any way that I can. I will keep working towards my end goal of being a great photographer and a great filmmaker, right? A YouTuber who inspires people to follow their dreams, and if possible, I want to inspire people to overcome the struggles in their life, because they didn't give me the support when I was going through struggles in my life, right? So in a way, I want to be someone who inspires people through hard times, inspires people to follow their dreams, and inspires people to just go out there and really appreciate the beauty of being alive. Even though there's hardships, you can always stop and look at the clouds. You can always stop and look at the trees, right? Look at dogs, how loving they are. And there's so many things out there that you can appreciate. There's so many things out there that leave me in awe. Even the smallest things, right? Like ants living in a colony, like bees working together in this giant hive mind, building honeycombs, producing beautiful, delicious honey. Right? There's so many beautiful things out there. It's what do you want to focus on? I too go through struggles. I go through struggles every single day. But I'm never a victim of my struggles. I'm never the victim of my pain. I am someone who will overcome anything that's thrown my way, because when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up, right? And that should inspire you. Even during the most darkest days, it should inspire you that there's always a chance that things can flip, and it can go from being extremely dark to being extremely bright. Like you can get success overnight, but for that overnight success, every single day put in the work, every single day be consistent, because the overnight success is basically a combination of multiple nights of hard work. It all leads up, it compounds over time, and it leads up to that bang, that viral video, bang, someone sees you and and recognizes your worth and then gives you a job, right? It will happen. Just trust the process. It was a beautiful year. So happy to have you on the channel. So happy to be here making videos, learning photography, learning to film stuff, going through beautiful moments, going through hardships, and overall the year just ended like this. Beautiful experience. Thank you guys for watching. I went on a little tangent there. Thank you guys for watching. I really wish you all a happy new year. Hope you guys have a beautiful year ahead, and hope that the upcoming new year gives you a lot of blessings, gives you a lot of good stuff, a lot of good times more than the bad times, right? And during the bad times, I hope that this year gives you the strength to overcome any hardship that comes your way. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.